Alright, from the top. So, basically Kirito is questioning, am I inside of a game? And it looks like he is, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a game. It is probably the STL. I think that what probably happened is, I don't know if it's going to be revealed in this episode, next episode, I'm not sure. He probably got hurt, and his body is probably rejecting life where it seems right now. So they're kind of like extracting his soul from his body, putting it into this the STL thing, and then he's like in a comatose state within it as they probably work on his body, because we don't know the extreme amount of like the effect with that drug, but all we do know is he was pretty badly hurt. When you're actually in a bad state like that, sometimes what doctors do is they put your body into a coma in order for you to heal. So we don't know how many years are going to pass by. We don't know how many years are actually going to happen. So as of right now, if you think about it, just like SAO was, he is trapped within the virtual world. Kind of lore about the tree. The tree is kind of like called like the demon tree. Basically, Yu-Gi-Oh's like calling is to cut down that tree. I think the tree might be a big importance. Maybe it's like kind of like the nucleus. I don't know. Just like in SAO, it was the tower, but something about the tree is very menacing. It's like just standing there, and it's like he said, oh, we may never be able to expand our world or expand our fields if we don't cut this tree down. So for 300 years, people have been trying to cut it down, and no one has been successful. I mean, they've gotten a little success, but it's only that much. And, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh's calling is to, for 4 hours, not even 4 hours, I think like every morning, every night, he has to go and do it 2,000 times in order to make sure that, it's kind of like being cut down and separated. So, like Kirito is saying, like, he's saying, okay, he's been here 6 years. Like, he's trying to speculate. He's like, he feels like he's been here for all his life, but he mentioned 6 years, so maybe he was raised within this world. Now, think about that, too, how weird that is. While our world is going on, there is a virtual world with artificial souls going on as well. So, in a way, it kind of is kind of like two different types of realities that Kirito is now living within. It's not even, I wouldn't even consider it the virtual world. I mean, it is a different, complete reality, because, yes, while it is virtual, at the same time, it's his soul that is within this game. So, it's a little different than just doing full dive, because full dive is more like using your mind and you're connected to it, but this is actually extracting your soul. So we also have somebody called Vecta, the dark god, which basically means like you wake up and you have no memories anymore, and then suddenly you disappear, and this happens to a bunch of other people. So I'm going to guess Vecta is also something we're going to kind of explore, but that could also mean now, after all these years, supposedly 300 years of lore, 300 years of history is there. They probably made up all these stories, and in the game's interface, in the actual interface of the STL, they probably wrote their own lore. Just like in a game, NPCs and characters and yourself react to certain things that a creator has made. So it's like with Vecta, that's probably written in the lore and everything, meaning people who disappear, who could potentially be people who are test players, which also kind of means like Kirito, who is a test player, but they're not going to know that because in their world it's called Vecta. In their lore it's called Vecta because that's how it was written. Gio introducing himself. It was a great introduction, but I'm curious to know why he doesn't remember Kirito, but Kirito remembers him, unless that was erased from his mind. But you know, maybe he just thinks like, oh, maybe they have the same names, or maybe his memories are going to start coming back to him that, oh, I know who Alice is. If Kirito does mention that, I'm kind of shocked that he didn't mention it, but he probably didn't want to mention it because he didn't want to make things awkward. But I like how he introduced himself, and now Kirito's like, why does this seem familiar? Even with Alice, he's like, this feels familiar when he started talking about the food and everything. Also, the callings are interesting because I feel like, again, Kirito, as he said, my calling is a swordsman, and you're like, of course it is. But Zinc seems like, I don't know if he's going to be a good character, bad character, angsty character. As where it stands, he looks like he's like the bully, angsty character. To give an example, even though I love Jean Kirstein from Attack on Titan, he is one of those characters where he was in a way, I am jealous, I am kind of like a bully to you, Eren, nyam nyam nyam. Like, that's the type of vibe I got from him, and it's not kind of because they have like a very kind of similar look in a way. It was also because just the way he's like, oh, you're calling stupid. Nyeh. It's like, why do you have to fucking say that? Also, let's see. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh is very dedicated. He's very dedicated to his job, and despite the fact that it is not considered like as important as other callings may be, he is dedicated to it. Even though he realizes that it may be fucking 3,000 years before this tree, even before his time, you know, gets cut down, he still does his job. And that's dedication. So I really think that because it's so introducing these callings and this lore right now, especially to Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like we might get to be able to explore that when it comes to him being the one to cut it down, or Kirito being the one to cut it down, to make sure that people know that Yu-Gi-Oh was an important part of their village. And again, when you're playing a game, all this history can be written within the code, so that could be like their memories is the code, that he might be an artificial soul. So that also begs to get differ. If he is an artificial soul and is a copy of a soul, is he a real soul? Just like if you are a clone, are you a real thing of the clone? Does that clone have a soul despite their DNA being copied the exact same way? So same thing with him. Is Yuzio actually a real person that was a test player? Or is he somebody that died who has passed away and they actually got a copy of his soul? So we're treading in some pretty fucking thin ice right now, because it's getting creepy when it comes to dealing with souls and everything. Like, we dealt with the mind, we dealt with the body, now we're dealing with the fucking soul with this series. So I'm wondering, how far is technology going to advance in order for them to do this, and is Yuzio real? As to where I stand on this, he looks real as of right now, but again, we don't have the fucking lore. And we don't have enough of information to start pointing fingers and saying, you're real, you're not real. Another thing too, the woman at the end that smiles, she's in a bed, and she smiled, and she's like, looks like she might be a big problem, or maybe she's a good person, I don't know, but where it stands, I'm gonna think she's a problem just based on that smirk that she gave. But my friends, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Remember, reading aloud your comments. So if you have anything that you want to add or anything that I may have missed when I analyze this, you just let me know. I hope you guys have an amazing day. You stay weird, you stay wonderful, you stay awesome. Until next video, embrace your fangirl, fanboy, and fan person every single day. Bye, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for once again making it to the end of one of our videos. Do all the YouTube stuff down there, like, comment, subscribe, and leave me a comment talking about some stuff you'd like to see All Ages Geek do, or stuff you don't want to see us do. You can tell me anything down there. I'm not going to tell anyone.